Hi, my name is Amanda Moore, and I have two daughters who attended BKPlay. And as you're trying to look for preschools, it's a very tough decision. For myself, I felt like I was a parent who was very involved. I took my kids to the aquarium all the time. We did art projects at home. I make my kids listen and follow directions. So I feel like a lot of things people are looking for in preschools, that's not what I was looking for. I was looking for a preschool that could do something I couldn't do at home, like really start working on their letters and start learning how to read and put things together. I felt like I could see my girls were ready to start learning more, and I really wanted them to be in an environment that I felt like could provide that. We had a truly wonderful experience at BKPlay. My favorite thing about BKPlay that I always share are the research projects. So the kids, the students, the teachers, they pick a project that they're going to work on. So maybe they choose rocks. And first they ask the kids, what do you know about rocks? And they make a long list of those things. And then it's, what would you like to learn about rocks? And so the kids are formulating questions about what they want to learn. And then they start researching. They're reading books, they're doing craft projects, they're drawing diagrams, they're doing a number of things. You would be amazed at the information a 3 to 5-year-old is bringing home about rocks. I am learning a lot about rocks when they're doing these research projects. The girls are learning so many things that I'm having to go to the library and check out books and look up things online because they're learning so much information and they're really retaining it. They're using it in other areas of their life. These research projects are amazing, and BKPlay will then have presentations on their projects after they've worked on them 1 to 2 months or so, and everyone gets to come in and you get to watch your child present on what they've learned, and they're so proud of their information. It's really, the research projects alone are a wonderful reason to choose BKPlay. Also, it's a nice environment to be with other parents and families that are a lot like yours, other people who have bright kids that are, worried about schools, how can I challenge my kid? Like, it's just being in an environment of like peers. One of the harder things I feel like is if you have a kid that you feel like is bright or needs a lot of challenge, it's hard to just talk about that on the playground because you don't want to be the parent that's like, oh, my kid's so smart. You don't want to be that parent. But at BKPlay, you can be comfortable being that parent because everyone else has that kid too. I think that's a wonderful thing. Another wonderful thing, when you're trying to choose preschools, I know that's very stressful, but that's just the tip of the iceberg to when you get to trying to decide a primary school. When you're starting kindergarten and first grade, Miss Mira was very instrumental in helping me get through those waters. It's a very tough decision. I had questions for her all the time. She was always helpful to me. It's a long story, but we are in public school, and Miss Mira, even once we started public school and I still had more questions, I could go back to her. She gave me lots of ideas for things to do. I'm a very strong parent now at public school. I know how to advocate for my child. I know how to advocate for my student. I am the advocacy rep for our school. I've met with some representatives here in Olympia this year to get things done, and a lot of my information and confidence on reaching highly capable kids has come from Miss Mira. A lot of drop off and pick up and questions and emails. She has really, I guess I've got a good education here at BKPlay. So she's really given me a lot of great tools to help me be a better parent for my kid. I mean, it's not just about preschool. You're trying to look, you're getting your kid to 12th grade. You're trying to get to your kid to college, and she's can give a lot of good advice all along that journey. You may be wondering about testing your child, especially if your child's 2 or 3. Are we trying to get an IQ test? Blah, blah, blah. Whenever we were approaching that, and I know you're a parent who's probably doing a lot of research, a lot of the research over and over will say you can't accurately test a child's IQ until they're 4 years old, and even some people debate about that. A lot of people in public schools say that's why public school gifted programs don't start till later, because you can't truly test a child when they're young. Here at BKPlay, if you're being admitted, you will be tested for an IQ test, and we were tested, of course, by Miss Mira for both my girls. And at some point you kind of wonder about that, like, oh, if they get it, if Miss Mira passes them, they get into her school. It's kind of counterintuitive. But when we were applying to local gifted schools and we had to take our test again, my girls, who had been tested when they were 2, when they were at 4, made the exact same score, just a little bit higher. So they actually did just a little bit better. So I felt like, for me, that was a clear indication that children can be tested early. And we should be using these tests to identify these kids as quickly as we can so that we can get them learning. The more research you do, 0 to 8 years old is a huge time for a child's brain, and the more information you're dumping in, the more they are absorbing and learning. As a parent too, one thing I was nervous about, like, oh, I'm putting in this very academic preschool, am I pushing them too hard? A kid loves to learn. A kid is excited about learning. They're learning about the cores of the earth, and they're drawing diagrams about it, and they're coloring. I mean, they're still kids. They're still having fun. They have no idea that they're learning so much information. And one of the biggest things I think you're doing for your child by choosing BK Play is you're planting the seeds for learning early. I mean, Aubrey Jane, my second one, over the summer, she was just like, how exactly are roads made? And I was like, well, roads are made from cement, they're mixing the truck. And she's like, no. She wanted the whole process. Like, how do you decide where the road's going to go? And how do they formulate it? And she needed a lot more information than I had. So I actually have a friend who is an engineer in, making roads. And so we are in process of getting in touch with her so she can give us a field trip and give us some more information for Aubrey Jane, who has also given me another assignment that we need to figure out how bridges float and exactly how that process works. So that's another project Aubrey Jane has given me. And the fact that she's been at BK Play and they've thought about concepts or how does this work and they're trying to figure it out has created the girls to apply that to their everyday life. They're always looking at something now. How do I make this work? How does that happen? And wanting to know that information. So I feel like choosing BK Play is giving your kid that stepping stone for loving learning for life. And as a parent, there's nothing more that you want than that.